everyone, this is Megan.
And this is Steven.
And this is the Synchrony Podcast, where we talk about transforming apostolic dating culture and ending loneliness in the church.
Yep.
Babe.
Mm-hmm.
I have gotten feedback. Oh, Lord have mercy. The slurping. Really quick.
You just want
to show off your cup.
I wanted to show off my gargantuan mug that my mom got me.
Yeah, for those of you who are not watching the YouTubes, if you're listening to this on a podcast platform of some kind, my mother-in-law, who, aka Emmy is her grandma name in our household.
Yep, Emmy.
Very cool. Emmy gifted us with some new mugs, which we desperately needed because ours were getting a little crusty.
Yep.
So I got this beautiful Proverbs one that looks very dainty and feminine and lovely, and has butterflies and flowers on it. And yours says, "Dad, you are the sharpest tool in the shed."
That's right.
And it has tools on it. And that is more coffee than I've ever seen you actually drink in one sitting.
It is lovely. It could be a coffee mug. It could be a cereal bowl.
It could be a cereal bowl if you wanted it to be. I really like it. It feels like it is an appropriately sized mug for the amount of caffeine that we consume in our day-to-day. Mine has this nice little thumb feature. Look at that. It's got like a little thumb nook on the handle. If you know, having a cup that fits your hand when you're drinking coffee is important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, with that amount of coffee and me also taking my meds late, I am probably going to end up staying up and editing this whole podcast tonight.
Hey, I'm not mad at it. Knock it out before the weekend. So what I was saying before you slurped loudly into the...
Yeah, sorry.
It's fine. We've gotten feedback about last week's episode.
Oh, why?
It's good feedback. The feedback is that we have made lots of people laugh. First of all, a surprising number of you are Star Trek fans, and that restores my faith.
Well, okay. She almost cut it out of the podcast.
I just want to point out.
She's like, no one's going to know what that is. And I was like, ye of little faith.
That's right. And you guys showed up and showed out, and I appreciate that. I was the one that got you into Star Trek.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But you're the one that tried to cut it out of the podcast. You naysayer.
Yeah, I just assumed that very few people are as geeky as I am, but my hope has been restored. Thank you all. So shout out to...
Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper. Shout out to those of you...
May the force be with you.
Oh my gosh. Shout out to those of you, speaking of which, who commented to say that you are Star Wars fans, but you still understand Star Trek references. And that shows a level of maturity and Christian dignity that I think just speaks well of our movement.
Yeah. Great power comes with great responsibility.
That is not a quote from either of those things.
No, we're just going down the line.
Okay, so while we offend everybody in the fandoms, actually, this is great. We're talking about being offensive tonight. Did you kill it? Oh, no.
I think I got it. I don't know.
For those of you who are listening to this on a podcast platform, Steven is now smacking surfaces in our...
Yep, trying to get this stupid gnat.
...shoffice, trying to kill a gnat.
So speaking of being offensive.
Speaking of being offensive. You have been part of conversations with me about the problem with ghosting.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. People ghosting people, leaving them on red, never responding, carrying on a conversation with them, and then suddenly like dying off. Ghosting isn't great. It's not great to be ghosted.
Unless it's wholly ghosted.
Holy ghosting is the only appropriate ghosting that we are a fan of. But
right.
If you're not being wholly ghosted, and if you're just being regular people ghosted, it ain't the best.
That's right.
Why do you think people ghost people? Like, let's just assume that most people in online dating spaces are not mean, evil people.
Yeah.
Right. And I've met lots of people who have said that they have been ghosted and they've been the ghost before. Why do you think people ghost people?
I think there's what people think they're doing and what people are actually doing.
What do you think they think they're doing?
I think that they think they're trying to not hurt them or let them down easy or not say things that they really want to say in an act of protecting them.
Right. Yeah, I think we can.
I think that's the lie they tell themselves.
Sure. I think we can convince ourselves oftentimes that we're doing things out of a sense of what's the word I'm looking for? Like when you do it on.
Altruism.
Yeah, thank you. Wow, you're the one to remind me of the big words.
Yeah. When you hang around someone long enough, eventually you'll become the grammar corrector as well.
I love that. It was kind of like attractive.
Don't get used to it.
Whew. Anyway, what was I saying before that? I got distracted. Altruism.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we do things out of a sense of like altruism.
Yeah.
But
that's what you tell yourself.
That's what we tell ourselves to justify why we do these things.
The reason why they're actually doing it, in my mind, from my perspective, is that they don't know how to communicate how they really feel, and they are actually trying to protect themselves from being hurt.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. And we've all done this at some point, right? We've all, even if it's not to a significant other or to a dating prospect, we've said innocuous things that we intended to be, comforting or kind or whatever, that were the opposite.
Yeah.
Right.
Hurt or don't want to feel awkward.
So people, we assume, if we're assuming the best, sometimes ghost because they don't want to say something that comes across the wrong way or that offends anybody.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes back to like the advice we all got when we were kids, right? Like if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Yeah.
So I have a problem with that mindset though, when it comes to dating and really when it comes to like life in general. And this was something that I didn't really know about myself, I guess, until I started working with the company that I work for.
Yeah.
Right. So I very much always tended to view any kind of like critical feedback as criticism, like as critique of me in a way that made me feel like I was doing something wrong. And I never really had a great tolerance for people giving me feedback. And when I went to work at my company, that's a big cornerstone of what we do and what we teach people. Like you have to have great feedback in order for people to work well together.
Yeah.
And so like I train people now on how to deliver feedback. And feedback is hard for people sometimes because when you do something in your work that's not ideal, or when you produce something that's not what was intended or required and people talk to you about it, it can feel like some part of you is being, called out, right? But teams only work well when you've got great feedback. People only grow when they're given good feedback. And most of the time what I found out is that 9 times out of 10, when you bring feedback to someone, they're not deeply surprised by it. Right?
Yeah.
Like have you had the experience before of like you understand that there's something going on between you and somebody else, and you know that it's like something that you probably are going to have to talk about, and you kind of have a sense of why they are the way that they are, but no one's broached the subject yet?
Oh yeah. It completely eats me alive.
You hate any of that kind of social tension or whatever.
Yeah. It's one of those things I very much have learned that I would much rather like bulldoze through the conversation.
Yeah.
Like I usually give it some time. I think about it. I make sure that I'm making a correct assumption before I approach the subject. But like if I know that someone is like upset or frustrated, or if I did something that wasn't within their expectations, this is like, I'm thinking specifically like when I worked at the B Lab or like in a work environment in general, is I very much prided myself on being, trying to think of how to put it.
Like proactive or like.
Having, I very much prided myself on being someone who had the most clear communication.
Yeah.
And when I feel like I didn't communicate effectively, and then or if I didn't try to pull communication out of someone else, and the goal was to make sure that there were no assumptions anywhere and that we had to cross the finish line together and like finish a project. If something went awry, There it goes. Back at
If
the
something went array.
array. Went awry. It ate me alive if I did not have that conversation with him.
Yeah, because you can sense. Here's the thing: like, if you have any level of social intelligence or sort of like emotional intelligence, you can usually sense when something's off.
Yeah.
Right. And like that even comes through in text-based communication.
Yeah.
You know, most people. You know, I was talking to someone recently who had the experience of having a really great initial dating conversation with someone online, and it went on for weeks and weeks. I think they had developed a really long-standing communication, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they felt it taper off, and they knew even before the person said anything that something had changed, right? Just because the frequency of the communication had changed.
Yeah.
So when you withhold your true thoughts about someone in a dating space, nobody's winning.
No.
Right? Because most of the time, I think people generally do one of two things. If they're in a situation where they have to tell someone that they don't want to move forward and they have to let someone down. And I'm not so much talking about like a breakup here necessarily, like where you've been in an actual dating relationship, you've agreed to be a couple, you've been evaluating each other as marriage prospects, and then you decide that it's not going to work and you break up. That's kind of a different dynamic. We have a whole podcast.
We're talking about like you started talking to someone on Facebook for a month and a half, and you've been frequently exchanging messages.
Right, you've been talking.
Yeah. And going back and forth and having that relationship, and then all of a sudden, I don't want to say you're leading them on, but you're leading them that you're curious. Because usually if you're going to meet with someone and have this kind of conversation over social media, it's usually in the circles that we're talking about, and like a singles group.
Yeah.
Right. You're not there to just get to know each other, to be friends. You're there to find someone to date.
Right.
Ideally.
Right. So people are like,
they're coming there with an expectation.
Right. In these talking environments, or, situationships, relationships, whatever you want to call them, talking interactions, you are evaluating whether or not the other person is an actual dating prospect for you. Like that's what that's about, right? Yep. You're trying to see, could I date this person?
Yeah.
And you at some point are going to be in a position where the answer to that is no.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's okay.
Yeah. But when people are presented with that, they tend to do one of two things. They tend to either ghost, which we've already established is no bueno, or they tend to deliver a reason. They'll tell them that they don't want to continue, and then they'll provide a reason.
Yeah.
And I think we often provide canned, kind of reused reasons for this because they feel safe and like they are the least offensive. But I got to let you know, if you're leaning heavily on these reasons and that's not the actual reason why you want to not date this person, it is probably obvious to them.
Yes. 100%.
Because people know.
Yeah.
Right? Like
when you say Jesus is the reason why you guys broke up.
Jesus was the reason why we broke up, Stephen. He's still better. It's been
no, I just like hanging it over your head.
10 years since we had that conversation.
Probably 11.
Probably 11. Anyway.
I have forgiven you. I have not forgotten.
Clearly. Oof. Anyway, so I want to talk about how to actually give someone good feedback in a dating interaction.
Or talking interaction.
A talking interaction, right? We'll call it that. Because like, here's the thing, like if this might be helpful for people to think.
A pre-dating interaction.
A pre-dating interaction, yeah. Because talking just feels like elementary.
Yeah.
You know? But it might be helpful for people to kind of think about the space that we're in as sort of like a company. Like,
yeah,
when you realize they're not a dating prospect, think of them as a coworker, right? Because we're all trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
We're all working on the same project, which is like further the kingdom, right? Advance the kingdom, live a holy life, do more. We're all part of the same company, if you want to call it that.
Or body, but sure.
Yeah. And like if corporate spaces had existed in the New Testament, maybe that would have been another metaphor that we pulled out.
Yeah.
But we went with body, which I think is great. But we could talk about how like we're all working toward the same objectives. We're all playing on the same team. And this other person deserves the opportunity to grow. One of the things we talk about at work is that like feedback is an act of care.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that's why I love communicating so much. I don't look at it as a me versus you. I look at it very much as a, like in my sports days, right? When I played a lot of team sports. I played like 9 years of baseball. And it didn't matter if you were a shortstop, if you were a catcher, pitcher, what you were doing, outfield, infield, even base coaches, like everyone has a role. And if you cannot receive correction about how you can do your role better and not take it personally, like they're not going to grow.
Right.
Because the goal is not for you to grow. The goal is for you to do your job well to help the team win.
Right.
And so it's less about you and more about the overarching like goal. And I think that's how I've always viewed communication is like in a work environment. Yeah, sure. I want you to be a better person as a result of it, or me to be a better person as a result of it. But again, I can use these skills to further the other goals in my life to become a better, more well-rounded individual.
Right. And growth, I mean, growth requires a stretch, right?
Absolutely.
Growth requires some discomfort. You know, one of the things that was hard for me to internalize when I first went to work was that I wasn't going to be able to be considered like a good team player unless I was willing to fail a little bit.
Yeah.
And that can be very hard for those of us who have been very failure averse for our whole lives.
It's like working out.
Right. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that when you're in these predating interactions and you need to let someone down, so to speak.
Yeah.
There is a way to do that is both honest, where you're not giving them a disingenuous reason for why, and also kind. You can do both of those things.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a book, it's like a businessy book if you're into this kind of thing. And I go back and forth about like the quality of the book because it feels very Silicon Valley. Like it's not super accessible to those of us who don't, just create $1 million startups every year or whatever. But it's called Radical Candor by a woman named Kim Scott, who's been one of the higher ups in like YouTube and Google and all kinds of other big tech companies. And she talks about how radical candor, which is the ideal communication path for a leader, right, or a colleague, is the intersection of challenging directly but caring deeply. And you can do both.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about that, and I think we could kind of frame this as like a do this, not that type situation.
Sure. I'm going to let you frame this out because if it's up to me, I'd be all over the place tonight.
You're like, boing, boing, boing.
Like I said, I'm pretty jazzed.
So I had a call earlier with someone who had listened to our last podcast and they were cracking up and they were like, I need to take you guys out to dinner with Steven like that. Like with Steven like over caffeinated and
so all the time.
Yeah. Over caffeinated and underslept or whatever.
Yes.
Overtired. And just see what happens.
These days it's pretty easy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like our whole MO.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the things that we say to people, the common things we say to people. What are some of the most typical?
In what context? Like,
So let's just say hypothetically you're being let down by someone, like let's pretend you're single and you're being let down by someone who you've been talking to, right? What are some of the things you could expect them to say that would be like palatable reasons for why they don't want to talk to you?
Well, Steven, you're a lot.
No. That's not what they would actually say, though.
Oh.
Things that, like, I'm talking
That's
about.
what I think about myself sometimes.
Yeah. I'm talking about, like, common tropes. Like,
I see.
Yeah. So one of them was the Dear John example of, like, I need to go work on my relationship with God.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Which it's fine if you do, but that's probably not why you're dumping them or stopping talking to them.
Yeah, it's I need to work on, I need to get a closer connection with God.
I need to work on myself.
Yeah. Which, and the thing is that the hard thing is these are like partial truths. Like there are truth to it. And that's why it's a good scapegoat.
That's the thing about it is, though,
or a not good scapegoat.
the thing about it, the reason why it feels disingenuous, though, is that you and I both know that if Mr. or Mrs. Right suddenly descended, which we don't believe in Mr. or Mrs. Right, but like if the perfect person suddenly descended from heaven and was plopped in front of this person and was like, I am single, are you single? They wouldn't be like, oh, wow, you're perfect, but I'm working on myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
We would multitask for the right person.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on myself. I'm really focusing on my ministry right now.
Mm-hmm.
I really need to stop and focus on school because this is taking too much time. Right. Like, again, all these could be valid reasons.
All of these are things where people are saying, like, I have a higher priority.
Yes.
But once again,
are there more, though, before we get it? Like, I feel like I'm not doing a good job of.
There are tons more, but let's talk about this category first. Like,
okay.
So one category of letdown is I cannot prioritize this right now, which is kind of the category you're describing, right? Yep. There are competing priorities.
Yeah, which those are always baloney to me.
And the thing about it is there are very few truly competing priorities that would prevent someone from talking to the right person, right? Yeah. Like, if you were deeply interested and attracted to someone, you would find time to talk to them no matter what was going on in your job, no matter what was going on in your ministry. You would make space.
Yeah.
Right? I've heard...
Unless you're going to like CRNA school or becoming like a nurse anesthetist or like a brain surgeon, then the school excuse to me would work. Like you're going for your what do they call it? When med students are
their residency.
Yeah, when they're doing their residency.
Like, here's the thing, though. I believe that it would be true that they probably wouldn't have time for a relationship. I still think it doesn't stop people.
No, and I think it would be a good excuse to say, "Hey, I want to continue this relationship, but right now I need to focus on this." That's different than saying, "Hey, I don't want to talk to you because I need to focus on this."
Here's the thing. If you met someone in a singles Facebook group and they reached out to you or you reached out to them and they started a conversation with you, then coming back and saying, "Hey, I really don't have time for this because I'm in med school," doesn't really make sense, right? If you're hanging out on in apostolic dating spaces or you're on a dating app, then that excuse doesn't hold water. Yeah. You know what I mean? And people, this is the part where I'm like, people know that it's disingenuous.
That's what we're trying to get to. Like you know what they're saying isn't true is the problem. And it's like, even though that, sure, in that certain situation, that could be true, but like, tell me the real reason so I can work on it.
Right. So that's one category of thing, which is like, I cannot prioritize this right now.
Yeah.
Right. Another category, I think this is less common, but it does happen, is like throwing leadership under the bus.
Oh, right? Yeah.
Like,
my pastor told me not to.
Right. Which, if your pastor does tell you not to talk to someone, that's fine. But I don't
lie about it.
Don't lie about it. But also, like,
that's a whole nother issue.
Also, like, that's if your leadership is telling you don't talk to this person, I'm believing in giving benefit of the doubt, they probably have a reason for why they think you shouldn't talk to that person. And that's the reason you should share.
Yes.
Just saying, my pastor said I can't date right now, right? There's either something going on with you that makes you not available or something going on with the other person that's sending off tons of red flags in your leader's mind. And if it's that, then you owe them, I think, the feedback of what's going on. I'm not saying you have to be like, my pastor had a vision and he saw demons all over you or something. Like, it doesn't have to be, whatever, but like saying, hey, my pastor raised concerns to me about your spiritual walk. And these are the reasons why I feel like that might be a thing. And I'm not ready to tackle that. Right.
Yeah.
Like, so like, anyway, I think that if your pastor or leader is advising you not to be in a relationship with someone, you should absolutely heed that.
Yeah.
But I think the other person deserves to know the root cause.
Well, and that might lead to, like, and this is something that I was kind of even questioning, saying, because I don't want it to come across as offensive or feeling like I know better.
Right.
But if your pastor is saying that to you for any reason, ask for action items. Like as if he can, like he or she can, like say like, hey, what are the reasons why you're feeling uncomfortable about this? Because other than it being an eerie feeling, I feel like that's really hard for the single person who's been trying really hard to find someone to marry. And then your pastor goes, yeah, I just don't have a good feeling about it. I understand that there's some times that there will be those situations, and I think you need to be very prayerful about that. I think you do need to listen to your pastor about it. But if it's a actual like thing that they are noticing as a pastor or as a saint, please give feedback.
Yeah. So if you're the saint in this scenario and your pastor is saying, I really don't feel good about this, approaching that with, can you give me some more context so that it's to train me?
Yes. And that's the thing is, how can you learn from it unless you know what to look for?
But I'm saying express that to your pastor versus being like, what do you mean you don't like him?
Yes. That's what I mean. Like do it from a place of curiosity.
Yeah. Submission
and wanting
curiosity.
to grow, not as a challenge. Like you're not trying to challenge your pastor. I'm just saying like, but it's okay to ask questions. So yeah, my goal is just, if you're a pastor listening to this, give something constructive for them to work on or to look for or to pray about. Because some people are trying very hard and have to wait for a very long time to find someone who is a potential prospect.
Right.
And it could be disheartening if it's just a feeling.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so we've covered the I can't prioritize this right now. We've covered my pastor said no. The other one that I think is really common, and we'll just leave it at these three maybe, because I think these are maybe like...
We could go down a ton of them.
I think these are like 80 or 90% of it is, it's not you, it's me. Like... You seem like a great person. You seem awesome. And I just have some stuff going on in my life right now, and it has nothing to do with you, but I just feel like I really need to go handle these things. And this is 100% on me and it's not on you. Right.
This is where I'm going to sound like a hypocrite. I feel like there are situations in which that can be a good answer if it's true. But you need to give a lot more context.
That's the thing. So I think it's fine to take responsibility.
Yes.
If it's, hey, you know what? I just realized that I'm still working through some trauma from my divorce.
Yes.
Or I'm still working through some heartbreak from my last relationship.
Or my wife passed away and I thought I was over it.
But I'm not.
But I'm not. I really need to take some time and go to counseling.
Right.
Yep.
Or something like, I thought I was open to the idea of a long distance relationship, but as I've been thinking about it, I really just don't think that's something I'm comfortable doing. And it's on me for not recognizing that earlier. I'm so sorry if I led you on, right?
Yeah. Like taking ownership is fine, but just leaving it as it's not you, it's me, and then just not answering their text message anymore isn't good enough.
Yeah, and this doesn't mean you have to like. First of all, like if the reason you're doing it is not about you, don't use this excuse.
Yeah, sure.
Like don't do that because it feels more humble.
Yeah. Or
it feels kinder. Like dishonesty is not kind.
No.
No matter how you do it, unless. The one example, well, never mind. Yeah, I'll go down this caveat. Like, I heard about a friend of mine was talking to me today about consistently lying to his elderly grandmother who had dementia because she wanted, this is really sweet, she wanted fresh fried fish all the time. And he was fishing and like frying fish for her basically like on like an almost daily basis because that was like all she would eat toward the end, like how people get like fixated on like
committed.
Yeah, but he was like doing a lot of fishing and frying a lot of fish, and she kept saying, I only eat grouper, but like you can't just go
you can't just go catch grouper every day and have it fresh.
So no matter what he caught, she'd be like, is this grouper? And he's like, yep. Yeah. And so like, okay, most dishonesty is not kind.
Alzheimer's is a different situation.
Alzheimer's is a different situation. Assuming that that's not the case of the person that you're dating, there's no,
Hopefully.
hopefully different that in that case, it's them. It's not you, it's them.
Yeah.
You know, there is no part of this equation where being dishonest with someone is better.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Mm-hmm.
So don't use it's not you, it's me if that's not true. And if it is true, take ownership, apologize for your misstep, because it might be that you just didn't realize something that you now know, right? I didn't realize that we lived so far away, right? Or I didn't realize that, hey, like I'm not over my ex, or I didn't, whatever. Own that. I didn't realize this. I take responsibility for that. I know now, and I it would be unjust of me to continue this in this scenario. Right?
Yeah. I think another one that would be good to call out is someone who is single and maybe never married or never had kids, trying to date someone who does have kids, and realizing in the relationship or while they're talking, they were going to give it a shot, and then realizing they weren't ready to date or marry someone who has kids.
I think that falls under that category of like,
I know, but I'm saying like, it's okay to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because I think the person who has kids would understand, yeah, they're a lot, and that'd be a big commitment. And if I were to marry someone, I would want that person to be ready for that commitment. Other than saying like, you know what? Yeah, it's not you, it's me. And then like walking away,
right,
and leaving that person like, what's wrong with me?
And there are better and worse ways to frame that.
Sure.
Right? Like, I don't think you should say like, I don't like your kid, or don't like being around your kid.
No.
And first of all, like if that's why you're not talking to someone, like you got some soul searching to do by yourself. But
yeah.
Saying, hey, I realized like I am not ready to be a parent. And your kids and you deserve someone who is ready to step into that role, and it's not me.
Yeah.
Like that's fair.
And that's totally fine.
Right. So those are some of the common ones. And if you've used these before, you're not a bad person, right? Like we understand why we go to these things, because it comes from this instinct of like self-protection, right? Yeah. It feels like the fastest way to smooth over, an awkward interaction. They just don't work in practicality.
No. And it continues a cycle of hurt. And now it's creating a culture.
I have worked with multiple people who have consistently been rejected in these scenarios where they've met someone online and they've been talking for a while, and then it kind of trickles off, and because they don't get clear feedback about what's going on, they have no way to make changes. Yeah. And they've become really disheartened.
Yeah.
And it's a shame, because they're amazing people who deserve great things. And I'm trying to work with them to like piece together what's happening, right? But we can't read anybody's mind.
No.
And it would be so much simpler if they had feedback from some of these people to tell them what was actually going on.
Yeah. Like this person I talked to for a couple of weeks said this about me, or it told me about this. And then I was like, okay. And then this next person. So like if there was a consistency of them being honest, it gives you action items to say, hey, is this something I really need to work on? And if it is, then great.
Right.
But this pattern of dishonesty just creates an environment of just like rejection and hurt.
Right.
And also keeps people lonely longer because there's nothing to work on, or there's nothing obvious to work on.
So I want to talk about the actual common reasons why someone might be cutting off a talking interaction. But before we do, let's talk about how to frame this feedback that you're going to give them before we get into the details. Because I think this is where people get really worried. It's about, how do I make this transition from we're talking to we're no longer talking? Like, how do I even start the conversation? Right.
Yeah.
So if I were in your shoes, right, in your DMs or whatever, and I was having to help you craft this conversation, as soon as you know that this person is no longer a person you're interested in dating, right? When that option is off the table, and hopefully, you've thought it through and like you've taken some time to evaluate that. But once you know, and you feel it in your gut, and you just know it's not going to go anywhere, you do not have interest anymore in evaluating this person to date, you are obligated to tell them soon after that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to put that on you. Once you know, you're on a time clock. And you don't have to rush to tell them that very second, but you need to tell them sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Because it's only going to get worse the longer you let it linger.
Yeah.
And you're going to just like...
Honestly, by the end of the week.
Yeah.
Or by the end of the calendar week.
Yeah, because you're going to build up anxiety about it. And it's going to become a bigger deal than it needs to be.
And then you start avoiding because you don't know how to say it. And it's going to become this pattern of the person picking up like, hey, what's wrong with me?
Right. Rip off the Band-Aid. Right. We know it's uncomfortable. We're going to just lean into the discomfort and have the conversation. Right.
Yeah.
When you have the conversation, it's okay to be upfront about it. Yep. Like, hey, this might be a bit of a difficult conversation. It's okay. I personally like framing feedback that way. When I know that I'm going to be giving a piece of feedback to someone that they might hear and be, have like negative feelings around, sometimes I like to prepare them. Like, hey, I need to tell you something that might be a little bit hard to hear, but I value, our work together. I value you as a person, or I respect you a lot as my, brother in Christ. And I want to make sure that you hear what I have to say, because I think it's important, right? So it's okay to frame it as, hey, this might be a little bit hard, but I need to have a conversation with you. And
it also sets the expectation. Again, clear communication is key. Because I think sometimes what ends up happening when you're going into a hard conversation, some people say like jokes to try to lighten the mood, and they try to sugarcoat it. And now this person's going into this conversation like not knowing where this conversation is supposed to go.
Right.
And then you didn't drop a bomb, and they're like, wait a second, is this sarcasm or is it what's going on?
Right.
So I think setting it from the very beginning is massive.
We talked about this a little bit last week with the like returning to dating and online interaction, like pros and cons, right? You should have this conversation in whatever the most, I guess, like intimate form of communication you've had so far, right?
Yeah.
So if you've met them in person and you can be in person to have the conversation, do that. If you've spoken to them over the phone or over a video call, do that. If you've only ever messaged them back and forth in a DM, that's fine, right? Yeah. But don't start with, hey, I need to have a hard conversation with you. Let's talk in 3 days, right?
Yeah.
Like, pick a time when you're going to be able to talk. You're in a conversation and say, hey, I need to tell you something that might be a little bit challenging.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So set the groundwork for that. And then, like, I think it's appropriate in these kinds of interactions to say something like, I'm telling you this because.
Yeah.
Because again, what we're asking you to do here is a little bit countercultural.
It honestly is. It's against everything that secular dating tells you to do.
So I think it's okay to say, I want to tell you this because I really respect you, right? I value you, or I don't want to waste your time. Your time is really important to me. I know we're both trying to find someone that we could be with for forever, and I want that for you.
Yeah.
Right? I think it sets the tone, to say like, hey, we're both adults here. We're going to be mature about this. My intentions toward you are positive, right?
Yeah.
I want the best for you, regardless of where this goes. I'm not doing this out of malice. I'm not doing this out of hurt. I value you as a person, and I'm doing this because I think you deserve, this valuable feedback in this conversation, right? You deserve to be treated with this kind of respect.
Yeah.
And it sets the precedent that you expect that respect from them back.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So we framed the conversation, right? Let's talk about the reasons why people are probably doing this at this point. The real reasons, not the excuses.
Okay.
So in the scenario, you've been talking to this person for a few weeks, right? Maybe or a few days or however long it takes. Most of the time in that time frame, the things that are going to tell you that this person isn't it are one of the following. Summary, I think that you're either not aligned and you realize that, you're not attracted, or something has been transgressed. Something has been done to you or around you in this interaction that has been off-putting.
Yeah.
Right.
And enough of a way for you not being willing to move forward.
Right.
Yeah.
So to kind of break those down, like not being aligned, I think this is the best reason to end a talking interaction, right? That's when you realize that your values aren't in alignment or the logistics of your life are not going to work out, right? You can't live in the same state. You know, your custody agreements compel you to live in two different places.
Yeah.
One of you feels called to do missions work in Zimbabwe and the other one feels called to do missions work in Nunavut, and it's just not going to work.
Yeah. Or your politics are on polar opposites.
Yeah. I wish that weren't as much of a nail in the coffin as it is, but it is these days.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. It's hard for people.
Yeah.
And yes, to answer the unasked question that somebody might be asking, there are real apostolics on both sides of the political spectrum.
Yeah. It's so funny how often we get that. And they're like, what?
I know. Yes. Politics won't get us to heaven.
That's right.
So, and it is not in scripture. So people live on both sides and that's okay. But yeah, so like you realize that there's a misalignment in the things that you value or what you want.
Yeah.
And that's perfectly fine to tell someone.
Yeah. What if someone doesn't know what their like values are and they just are feeling a disconnection and they don't know why?
Yeah.
Because not everyone absolutely knows what their values are or what their alignment is or what their where they're going. They're like, I'm just trying to talk to a girl.
Right. And it's not like any of us.
I'm just trying to talk to a guy.
It's not like any of us are carrying around like a values-o-meter that's like going to tell us like this person is or isn't off by 5 degrees from your values, right? But you know, dating interactions are sometimes where we discover some of these things about ourselves.
Yep.
And that's okay. Like it's okay to be like, wow, I realized that the way that you talked about money and finances doesn't really match how I think and feel about finances, and financial stability is a value of mine.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
And maybe that wasn't important enough for me to call out when we first started talking, but I'm realizing it's very important to me now.
Yeah. I think also a lot of people run into situations where they think other people think the same way they do.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get into a dating interaction and they're like, oh, people have different perspectives about this. And that's when they identify like, oh, this is really important to me.
Right.
And that puts it in an awkward situation because they're like, do I want to sacrifice like this being a part of my family, or is this person worth like continuing talking to? And not everyone knows how to break away from it.
Right. And sometimes, you know, like one of my dear friends was in a talking interaction with someone and it just wasn't feeling comfortable for her. And I was sitting with her talking about it and trying to really get down to the root of like, okay, well, what's going on? What is it that's making it uncomfortable? And we talked about it and we kind of did the 5 whys. Yeah. Which if you haven't heard us talk about that, that's where you kind of interrogate your statements 5 times. So, you know, I just feel like the chemistry is just not there. Well, why?
Yeah, why?
Well, our conversations just don't really seem to go anywhere. You know, I feel like I'm always the one kind of driving the conversation. Why? Well, I'm usually the one starting the conversations every day, or I'm sending jokes and he's not really responding back with what I think he should respond with. Why? Well, he doesn't really seem to get my sense of humor. Like I'm kind of quoting this person's, like my conversation with this person, so to speak.
Yeah.
And what we got down to was this person had a really, like my friend has a unique and very fun sense of humor. And it's part of her family interactions. It's part of the culture of her community. It's the friends that she has. And this person that she was talking to was not getting her humor.
Yeah, or engaging in that side of her. Yeah.
Right. And it was basically an equation where it was like, okay, to continue talking to this person, I'm going to have to start masking this important part of who I am and something that I enjoy and value in the people that I am around all the time.
Yeah.
This means that this person would not be a great fit with my family and would not feel at home in my friend group.
I think the hard thing is like what came to mind initially is some people would probably convince themselves that like, oh, that's a little selfish of me to want that. But really, no, that's sacrificing a part of you that is so important about you.
Right.
And it's okay to be to want that. But again, you have to know how to identify it, because like you said, it was just like this doesn't really feel right.
Right.
Why?
Yeah. Sometimes the thing you need to do before you have this conversation is really sit with your discomfort with this person and drill down to what's going on. Because we don't always know off bat, and we kind of just go, oh, the chemistry wasn't there.
Yeah.
That just means that you haven't thought hard enough about what actually was missing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Do yourself a favor and think critically about what you're about to do.
Right. So I think that when you identify a values misalignment, it is perfectly fine to say, hey, I really respect you. I really enjoy getting to know you. I think you're a great person, but I can tell that our values are not aligned in this particular area. And I'm realizing that that's very important to me. I'm not going to be able to compromise on finding someone who aligns with me there. And I really want you to be able to find someone who aligns with you in that too.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. I have a question that kind of, I don't say contradicts this, but it's more of like a not perfect world situation.
An edge case.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But not so edge case. Like it's actually like probably more common.
Okay. What is it?
What happens if the person is like just straight up toxic, or if the person is?
That's a couple that actually we're going to get to that. Hang on to that thought. Okay.
Oh.
Yep. Okay. So the second category is you figure out that you're not attracted to this person.
Okay.
For what it's worth, just a plug. I don't think you should decide that in the first 10 minutes of interacting with them.
100%.
We are defaulting to this way too soon in our dating interactions, especially if you're talking to someone online.
Yes.
And all you've ever seen of them is a thumbnail photo.
Yeah.
Like, that's not enough to know.
Nope.
If you haven't heard the sound of their voice, if you haven't seen how they move and how they interact with other people, if you haven't spent time looking at them sort of face to face, at least over a video call, you're not getting a real sense of what they're like.
Yeah.
So like, anyway, I won't like harp on this for forever because we've harped on it in other places, but you should take some time to see if you could be attracted to someone before you decide that you're not.
Yes. And that's the thing is like, guys, I am calling you out because I've heard so many guys say, oh, I don't think she's attractive. I'm not even going to give it a shot. And I think you're shooting yourself in the foot because there are so many people out there that are amazing individuals that would fit perfectly with your values and where you're going in your direction in ministry and life. And they're the quality of mom that you want for your children. Like, but you're just looking at someone that you have not interacted with at all and saying, no, I'm not going to give that a shot.
It's almost
and
like,
I don't know, like it makes me so frustrated because I'm like, you're throwing out the baby with the bathwater.
It's almost like I was talking to a friend about this again, because she was expressing frustration because like she is, she feels like she's sometimes passed over in the dating space because of her body size. Right. And she's like, the thing about it is that's frustrating is I'm willing to talk to anybody. This is her.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm willing to have a conversation with anybody, no matter what they look like. And she's like, I feel like I'm not given that same respect.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, it's almost like with guys sometimes that if a woman doesn't fit a certain archetype of what is within the scope of what they find attractive, that person ceases to exist. It's like, nope, it's just an immediate shutdown of any type of interaction. And I do think that it's causing men to miss out on great opportunities.
Yeah. In their defense, that is how it is socialized.
100%. We've trained guys to be like that.
Yeah. Like in every environment, every guy interaction that you have talking about women is usually about their physical beauty.
Right.
I'm talking about like the secular world. And so like, I understand why they think that's the most important.
Yeah.
But I also want to harp on I don't remember how many episodes ago I said this, but it really has stuck with me since that.
You're like, I said a great thing.
Yeah. I need
that
to write
many episodes ago.
I need to write down that one thing I said.
Dear diary.
Yeah.
Today I said a great thing on the podcast.
Yeah. Done. But because of secular, and honestly, we've even heard it in church relationships, I'm not going to enjoy my time with my wife, so she might as well be pretty.
Right.
Like,
Or if she's not stunningly attractive, I'm scared that I won't be able to stick out the relationship.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like, that makes sense too. I can see that fear, but I don't think that's in the forefront of their mind.
Mm.
Like, I hear so many guys talk about like the old ball and chain jokes.
Sure.
It's the whole like, oh, I got to go home to my nagging wife and all this other stuff. And there's so much negativity about marriage. And it's even perpetuated in the church. Like, as I know, it's like sarcasm and joking. And like, if you're married, you understand like the jokes. But to the single people who are trying to find prospects, like, I think it's unintentional, but basically it's saying like, well, if I'm not going to actually be able to have a relationship in which we have this meaningful connection and we want to grow every day together, but she's going to be nagging me all the time, she's going to be doing all these other like tropes that we perpetuate, I might as well just be attracted to her. And if she's not attractive, then I don't want to give her a chance.
Right. I don't want to spend too much time on this because we talk about it all the time. But
I know, but people need to hear it.
I agree with you. So anyway, the moral of that whole rant that we just gave was take time before you decide that you're unattracted to somebody. But if you do realize that you are not attracted to them physically, right, or you find them unattractive, it is okay to acknowledge that, and it is okay to stop talking to someone at that point if you're like, I do not see myself becoming attracted to this person.
Yes, I don't. It's going to make me sound like a hypocrite. You're not a bad person for not being attracted to someone.
Right.
I just want you to think critically as to, is that the reason why you're not attracted to that person?
Right.
Like, is there something else?
And is there potential, like, I think in a lot of interactions, there is potential for attraction to grow, right?
Yeah. And have you given it have you given it its best effort?
Have you given it enough time to see?
Yes.
I'm not talking about years. I'm not talking about doing a 2-year-long situationship because you're like, I'm trying to see if the attraction will show up. Like, give it a few weeks. And if you can't envision yourself being attracted to this person or enjoying physical proximity to this person or whatever, like, maybe it's not it, right? Yeah. And it's okay. And in that scenario, this is maybe the most difficult kind of flavor of this to give feedback about, because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings over something they can't control.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. So I want people to be honest here, but they don't have to be deeply specific, right? and there's a way to frame. Yeah.
I'm not. It's so funny because I'm not trying to say that we're saying the opposite of the first one, but also like this is a part of breaking up like a Christian.
Yeah.
Is like there are ways of saying things directly without hurting someone's feelings.
Yeah. If you go look at the radical candor thing again, so in the book she basically has like a quadrant, right? And it's like there's like a spectrum of directness and care, right? So again, radical candor, which is the ideal, is when you're challenging directly, but you're also caring deeply.
Yeah.
Right. If you are not, if you're challenging them directly, but you're not caring deeply about them and you're not demonstrating care and kindness, you're just coming across as a jerk.
Yeah.
Right. If you care about them super much, but you're not challenging them at all, I forget what she calls it, but basically you're coming across as just like soft and
an enabler.
Kind of, yeah. Like you're hurting them in a passive aggressive way.
Yeah.
Right. So there is a way to say, I do not find you attractive without hurting someone and making them feel bad about how they look.
Yeah. Especially when it's something they cannot control.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is not the time to say, I think your eyebrows are really, really ugly. Right. You have great eyebrows, by the way. I think they're great. I like a strong brow.
It's almost Neanderthal.
Well, it's okay to say, like, you know, I really enjoy getting to know you. I find a lot of value in our connection, but I am not feeling attraction in the way that I need to feel it in order to pursue a dating relationship.
Yes.
And you can leave it at that.
Yes.
It doesn't have to get specific. If they come back and say,
I was going to say, what if they ask, well, what specifically?
Okay. So then I think there are basically gentle stepping stones into this conversation.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And you can say like, okay, I have some feedback that I can give you, but are you open to me saying something about your physical appearance if it's something that you can't really control?
Yeah.
And give them the option, right?
Yeah.
You can say, honestly, I don't think the things that I'm encountering are things that are within your control to change. Do you still want to hear about them? And if they say, yeah, I really would, I'm curious, it's okay to give them brief, kind list. Well, I appreciate you saying that. I'm really attracted to, a full head of hair. I'm struggling with the fact that you're losing your hair. I find it unattractive.
Yeah.
Right. Or I'm typically attracted to people of this type of body size, and your body is a very different size than what I'm normally attracted to.
Yeah. You don't have to say you're fat.
Right.
Like that's an inappropriate way of
skinny.
saying it. Yeah.
And I'm not here to say that that's not a hurtful thing to hear, right? It's still painful to hear, hey, something about your body is not attractive to me, and I'm being honest with you about it, even though I acknowledge that you probably can't change it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that that's not hurtful, but if someone has put themselves out there to ask why and to ask for more information, giving them kind honesty is okay.
Yeah.
I do feel like sometimes like people are going to hear this and be like, easy for you to say, like, you're married and you never have to do this again. And I just want you to know, I have to do this. I have to do this all the time.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. We work in a matchmaking business.
Yeah.
Where we have to be able to talk directly with people.
Yeah. I have to have honest conversations about like, hey, like, you're missing several front teeth.
Yes.
That can be a real turnoff for some people,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't mean you are a less valuable person. It doesn't mean that you don't deserve a great, wonderful, healthy relationship. It doesn't mean that you don't have a lot of love to give. It does mean that you might have a dating barrier that's really preventing people from seeing you as physically attractive.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway.
Yeah. So it's it's a topic that we have to cover all the time, mainly because it is our job, and also our clients literally give us that permission.
And I ask.
Yeah, we have to, obviously we're still very sensitive with how we say it, but it's one of those things is like it is our job to put our clients' best foot forward,
right,
to be the most marketable versions of themselves.
Right. And if I know, like, if someone has gone through subsequent matches and I can see a pattern in how people are responding to them, or I can see that like, oh, there's, when this person said something about this and I feel like that's what they meant, right? I feel like it's my job to let the other person know so that they have control over what they do next, right?
Yeah.
Because I can't make the decision for someone to spend a ton of money on a cosmetic adjustment to their teeth, right? Or to go start paying someone to wax their eyebrows for them, or to go start undergoing a painful laser hair removal procedure, any of that stuff, right? Like I cannot, and I would never want to make that decision for them. And I would never want someone to make changes to their body solely based on the opinion of another person.
Yeah.
But I'm okay to say, hey, are you open to an aesthetic suggestion?
Yes.
Right. And if someone says no, I'm like, no problem. Like we'll continue on. Right.
Yeah.
And if someone says, yeah, I'll say, okay, I realize that this change might be difficult or expensive or uncomfortable, but here's what I think might help.
Yeah.
So we have these conversations a lot.
Sometimes it's as simple as change your camera angle.
Sometimes it's that. I have sent people facial hair trimming tutorials before.
Yep.
I've sent people,
eyebrow trimming tutorials.
Yep. I have edited the background of people's thumbnail photos to better frame their face.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, people have sent us photos of themselves like in bathrooms with urinals behind them, and we're like,
that won't do it.
Nope. That's not a good way to attract someone.
Right.
Let's change this photo.
Right.
So
it is okay to tell someone that you do not find them attractive.
Yeah.
You are not a bad person for not finding someone attractive.
Yeah.
It is irresponsible to label someone as unattractive before you have sussed it out. Yep. That's not fair. But it is okay when you have sat with it and thought about it and taken time to say, I do not feel attraction to this person. I do not see myself feeling attraction to this person. I need to move on. I'm wasting both of our time. Right.
Yep.
Okay. We're getting stuck on these, but I think they're good. So we talked about A misalignment. We talked about a lack of attraction. This is the one that you were going to a minute ago, which is like a transgression, right?
Mm-hmm.
When the person that you're talking to does or says something that puts you off.
Yep.
Right. Or that you find offensive or otherwise like distinctly off-putting, and it closes off the opportunity of a future relationship. This one, I think, all the others, like, I think it's better to give people direct feedback, but this one, I think you are obligated to tell them.
Yeah.
Because it's not fair to send other people into this dating space with this person without them knowing what the impacts of their actions are.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so what does a transgression mean in this context?
Oh, basically what the thought that was coming to my mind is like, what if someone becomes all of a sudden like overly aggressive or
moves too quickly.
Yeah, I would say, well, it moves too quickly in the relationship and feeling forceful, or even worse, like showing signs of like being blatantly
sexual,
not right spiritually.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and when I say not right, I mean, obviously I know we're all on a spectrum of our relationship with God.
We're all working on things, right?
Yeah, but like when you're overtly sexual or just doing things that you're not really challenging yourself in your relationship with God.
If you start sharing ungodly things with this person, like,
or asking for nudes or
right, or just like sending like, stuff with profanity in it,
yes.
or sending stuff that has, really worldly kind of unhealthy content to them.
Or just being inappropriate all the time, or
right.
Yeah, there's like, and then there's also the situations where you don't feel safe.
Sure, someone makes you feel like they're asking for too much personal information.
Yeah.
They're putting you in a difficult position where you feel like you're saying no to things and they're not hearing you.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes it's that they express a preference or a dislike of something that's important to you.
Yeah.
Right. Doesn't mean they're a bad person or that they're being malicious, but like, I've had someone say like, I really don't want to live in this region because culturally it's not a great fit for me. I just don't feel like I connect with the culture of this region. And someone's like, literally my entire family's from there. So no one's a bad person in that scenario of like having differences of opinion, but it could be an opinion about something that matters to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's also like blatant racism too, like
yeah,
or sexism.
100%.
So I mean, there are situations in which you're talking to someone, you're giving them a chance.
Mm-hmm.
You may or may not be physically attracted to them. Like you're trying to put your best foot forward, and then they do something that says, you know what? Even if all the other check boxes were checked, or boxes were checked, just this quality alone, I do not want to move forward.
Yeah, there's a and I think it's important in these interactions where somebody does something, but what we're kind of describing is someone who does something to offend you, right?
Yeah.
And does something offensive to you, even if it's not like a deep, serious offense. It just strikes you as offensive. It's off-putting, right?
Yeah.
I think it's important in those moments to assume the best about their intention, even if the outcome was negative.
Yes.
There's a rule of thumb. It's called Hanlon's razor. I guess that I know exactly how this came about. Actually, I had to look it up to make sure I didn't misquote it. But the adage is never attribute to malice that which is adequately explained by stupidity. I've sometimes seen that which is adequately explained by ignorance. Right.
Yeah.
Don't assume that they're bad or malicious or whatever.
They might not be doing it to you.
They might not be aware of the impact of their actions, right? They might not be aware that the phrase that they just used is a racist phrase.
Yes.
Or it's a sexist phrase, right? Or that they said something about somebody that you happen to be related to, right? So let's not assume that they were trying to be hurtful or trying to be offensive, basically. So how do you handle this? What's the way that you frame the conversation when someone has said something offensive to you or done something offensive to you?
I think you should I wouldn't respond to it immediately.
Like in the moment?
In the moment.
Mm.
I would take some time and think about it, because I think when you have heightened emotions and you have cortisol going through your body, of you being frustrated and possibly even adrenaline going through your body, like you're not going to respond well, more than
Right.
likely.
Right.
I would take some time, probably 1 or 2 days, and really think about that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Try your best to give them a benefit of the doubt,
Mm-hmm.
and then come back with a time to talk to them and say, hey, we need to have a conversation.
Yeah.
What you said really hurt me, or really confused me, or like be very direct with it, and to the best of your ability, direct with what they said,
Mm-hmm.
and why that affected you.
Yeah, I do think that there is a time clock on this. So I agree with what you say, that it might not be the right moment in the moment to have that conversation. I do think though you don't want to wait for very long,
No, I was
because
thinking like one day, maybe.
right, because it needs to be fresh.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to accurately describe the interaction, right? Hey, do you remember yesterday when we were talking and you said this? That needs to still be within everyone's active memory, not like, hey, did you remember 6 weeks ago? And
No, for sure,
you know,
sure.
so have it soon, but take time to think about it and prepare your thoughts. And I like what you said about like basically like explain the behavior and explain the impact of the behavior.
Yeah.
And when you explain the impact, I think you should try to use I language,
Mm-hmm.
which you'll hear therapists talk about all the time. It's kind of it's becoming like a funny sort of meme, right? But like, instead of saying like, you said this thing and you made me mad,
Yeah.
right? Say, you said this thing, and as a result, I felt really angry.
Yeah.
Right. I felt like you were dismissing my concerns, or I felt like you were saying something rude about my family. Right. It puts it on you.
Or I felt unsafe.
Right. And you're taking ownership of the feeling.
Yeah.
And you're letting them know this was the impact of your word. I don't, of what you said. I don't know what your intent was, but this was the impact.
Yeah. I think this is a beautiful opportunity.
Mm.
I think this is very much the crossroads of this interaction or of this relationship, because I can see two situations happening. I can see one where they go, what do you mean? And then they get defensive, and then they don't own up to it, or they're not willing to have a conversation about it.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's like a headstone on the relationship. Like, cool. All right. Basically, then you can choose to break up like an apostolic, or choose not to talk like an apostolic, and go your separate ways.
Right.
Or the person can go, oh my goodness, I did not realize that what I said hurt you in that way. And this could be a way for you to see how this person takes feedback.
Right. And for what it's worth, like if someone does that, and if they're like, oh my goodness, I had no idea, I'm so sorry, that does not obligate you to keep talking to them.
No, it does not.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, the thing is as someone who values communication very well, I can communicate until I'm blue in the face. But if someone's not willing to communicate back to me, then it doesn't go anywhere.
Right.
And one of the things I was looking for when I found you was someone who was able to communicate back with me.
Sure.
And so even though like we didn't agree on every single conversation in our first couple talks before we started dating, I still love that we can talk about hard things and give direct feedback about it. So it's one of those things is like, I would take this as an observation basically and say, hey, how do they respond to this? If they respond remarkably well, then maybe it's not a full, like, let's not continue this relationship, depending on what the transgression is.
Yeah. I think it gives you, it positions you to, reset the stage. We actually, there was a scenario like this recently, where two people were communicating over text. Okay.
Yeah. It's a great way to communicate.
Yeah. Can really lead to some awkward interactions. And, this person was, trying to type something, and, I don't know if they were using voice to text or if they were just going really quickly or whatever. They accidentally sent a completely different phrase than what they meant to send. So like instead of saying like, oh, like, you know, I'd like to plan to get dinner with you or something, they said something like, oh, I'd like to get into trouble with you or something.
Oh,
like
gosh.
it came across as suggestive when it was not intended to, right? And they didn't notice that that's what they had sent.
Yeah.
And so they send this text.
I have been in very dangerous situations like that because I talk to text.
Oh man. Yeah. I like, you know, anyway, so sorry, I just thought of my biggest fear. This is just confession time. My biggest fear is we have a text thread that has you, me, and our pastor in it, right? That we use to text updates and like check in and like whatever, right? My biggest fear is that one day I'm going to be sending you a really spicy like inside joke or like, you know, we're married. Yeah. We send each other spicy texts sometimes. And I accidentally select the text thread that has pastor in it. After which point I would have to go into witness protection. I'm pretty sure. Like, it's like we're done. I'm
I promise you every time you and I text about a serious conversation, I always double check and look because I have so many group text threads with you in them that I always double check. I'm like, just in case.
Yeah, it's awful. I'll send it, then I'll second guess it and have to go check 4 or 5 times. Anyway, so all that to say, like the other party in this text scenario did the right thing and said, hey, you said this thing and it really made me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And the other person looked back at their text and was like, oh my goodness, I am so sorry. Like, this is what I actually meant to say. I apologize. And it actually reset their relationship.
Yeah.
So that can happen. And like, I don't think you should go into that discussion of the transgression expecting it to happen.
No, but like I said, if you give them the benefit of the doubt and give them a chance to explain themselves.
Right.
Then reevaluate.
Make a decision after that.
Yeah, I wouldn't, again, I think there's a lot of assuming ill intent in a lot of these, especially because so many people have been burned. How many stories have we heard?
Right.
Men and women who are in these singles groups, and some Christian, some apostolic, some on online websites and some on apps that are just getting solicited. Like they'll be talking to someone for, 5 or 6 texts back and forth, and then they're asking for nude photos. And it's like there's so many people that assume the worst because they've been burned so many times.
Right.
So I get the sentiment behind it.
100%.
But try your best to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Right. Yeah, I think it's just really important. I think it's important to be very honest in these situations. I think it's important to take responsibility for your own emotions.
Yes.
Don't make it about like, you made me feel X, Y, and Z thing, in the sense of like, and you made me feel like, you didn't care about me. And when you said that, I just knew that you were saying that you thought that I was this, that, and the other. Like, no, you don't know what's going through their head.
No.
And don't pretend like you do, right? But saying, you said this and the impact on it for me was this other thing, right? This is what you did, and this is the impact that you had.
Yep.
And because of that, I can't see myself in a relationship with you in the future.
Yeah.
And I owe you the opportunity to know that. Like, you deserve, as a person I respect and care about, to have this information so that you can go forward and have a great, successful relationship.
Yep. But you know what's great about this whole conversation? At the end of this, say at the end of all of these scenarios in which it does not work out, you have absolutely clear expectations.
Absolutely. And
you walk away from that conversation and go, I am no longer pursuing that person. I can move on.
No one is in limbo.
Nope.
And also,
and some situations you might actually have constructive feedback.
That's what I was going to say. And you've gifted them with something, right? Like if let's just say hypothetically, you had a person who was constantly getting rejected because their camera angle was down here under their chin, and it was giving them like a quadruple chin situation, right?
Okay, real quick, side tangent. When you are on FaceTime or on Zoom or Google.
No, okay. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, just whatever, you're not going to be able to see Steven.
You're not going to be able to see me.
But he's grabbed my phone and is about to do a demo. So go check out the YouTube for this particular portion.
Y'all, first of all, stay away from recliners. I love recliners. I've been begging my wife for one for years. She won't let me get one because they're too bulky.
They're ugly.
I was going to say bulky, just so that way you don't offend people with recliners.
I apologize if I've offended you. Recliners are not part of my aesthetic, and they do not fit my value system.
I want one so badly. Mm-hmm. I don't care about aesthetic. So avoid recliners, and please don't use your stomach as a rest to have a conversation. Yep. How you doing?
It ends up in a very unflattering angle.
None of this is ever a good angle.
Yeah. If
direct or slightly above eye line.
Right. You want them to be able to see minimally into your nostrils.
Gosh, like I feel like it should be common sense, but like you can have perfectly beautiful people that look terrible because of their camera angle. Sorry for the soapbox.
Okay. So anyway, let's just say this hypothetical. We have a person who is really struggling with their camera angle, right?
Yeah.
And they keep getting rejected time and time again. They get ghosted. People say after they've talked to them, after they FaceTime with them for the first time, they just vanish, or they give them an, it's not you, it's me. That person is going to be wondering what's wrong with them.
Yeah. You're just building on top insecurity on top of insecurity on top of insecurity.
And they're not going to have an answer. And it's going to feel like, am I not lovable? Am I not dateable? What did I do wrong? All these questions start swirling. If someone were to come to them and say, hey, I really enjoyed interacting with you, but I'm going to let you know that I don't feel attracted to you. And I think some of the reasons why is that I feel like every time we talk, I'm looking straight up your nose. Right? Yes. Okay, that's fixable. What a gift, right? Okay, it's a bummer that this dating interaction didn't go well. I understand that you've seen my brain through my nostrils and you're probably not attracted to me anymore. But now I can go adjust that for next time. I can get a tripod. I can get a whatever. I can hold my phone at face level and suddenly the world is my oyster again. And I have the opportunity to go find someone. Like, I don't think people understand that when you are withholding true, honest feedback, you are blocking them from finding a person.
Yep.
Like, let's just put it really bluntly. If you know something that is preventing someone from finding a connection and you do not give them that in a kind and respectful and Christian way, you are part of the thing keeping them lonely. You are perpetuating that for them. And if you would not prefer to have someone work to keep you lonely, then you shouldn't be doing that either.
Yeah.
And like, I don't want to hurt people's feelings or make people feel attacked by this, but it's really important that we take responsibility for each other like that.
Yeah.
We're all part of the same team. We're all trying to build kingdom families, and we need to be invested in everyone having the best opportunity to build the life that they feel called to build.
Be the good Samaritan. Like, don't be the one that just walks by.
The reason why we're in the scenario that we're in and the culture is the way that it is because there's a host of reasons, but one of the big ones is that we've stopped taking responsibility for everyone else's success in this area. All of us as a church need to be invested in our people finding partners.
Yeah. It's going from you are the only one responsible for yourself to, this is going to sound super cheesy and cliche, and I'm so sorry, but like team single, right? We are on the same team. Mm-hmm. Yes, we might not work out, but I want to help you the best way possible.
Right. So if you know the reason why you do not want to talk to this other person anymore, please take these tips. If you need to reach out and ask for help framing it in a way that's going to come across as kind, we are so happy to help with that. I would love to help you workshop this. Send me a message on Instagram. I am happy to do that. It would absolutely fill my cup, right?
Yeah. If you want to get a hold of us, Instagram is definitely the fastest way.
That's the only thing that I get push notifications for.
Yeah.
Because otherwise
not even text messages from me.
Otherwise I become very anxious. So, okay, stepping back really quick just to kind of recap. We talked about the fact that a lot of people are choosing to ghost or choosing to give dishonest reasons because they don't feel like they can say why they don't want to keep talking to someone for real.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about why it's important to be honest. Dishonesty is never the right choice in these scenarios.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's also scriptural.
Yeah. There's a moral part of this too.
Yeah.
For sure. So it's not about whether or not to be honest. It's about how to frame your honesty in a way that is respectful and kind.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that you bury the information. You can do things like say, I have some feedback that might be valuable to you. Do you want to hear it? You can invite them into the conversation. And if they say no, you can leave it there. And your responsibility is complete at that point.
That's what I wanted to add. In the off chance that you have analyzed what you've said and you say with love and kindness to a person, you are not in control of how they react.
Yes, that's true.
So you can expect them to be as much of a Christian as you want them to be, but you're not responsible for how they act. And so if you did your best, you did your due diligence, and they choose to act immaturely,
turn the other cheek.
To walk away, and that's okay. You said your truth, and you move forward.
Don't go blast them on social media.
It's not your job to talk bad about them. It's not your job to gossip about them.
Right.
But it also, I don't want it to affect like, oh, did I say something wrong? Like, obviously, if you're rude about it, that's a different story. But be kind and be honest, and you're responsible for how you act, not someone else.
Yeah. People get to burn their own bridges.
Yeah.
You don't have to burn them for them.
Yeah.
And again, we can't read people's minds. We don't know what's going on in someone's head and their heart when they get this hard feedback.
Yeah.
Or what it triggers in them or what it brings up. And those are things that they need to address and they need to work on. And it's not your job to try to fix them in that moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a really good point. Like you need to do this regardless of what their emotional response is. And their emotional response is not a reflection of you in that moment.
Yeah. But also doesn't take away your responsibility to tell them.
Totally.
We're wrapping up.
Yes.
But I did realize that there was one other situation that we are not talking about tonight. So don't like sigh because this episode's too long. But maybe we can come back on another episode. Is someone choosing to not be clear and try to like beat around the bush? Is the person who is like choosing to not be honest and be vague about why they're breaking up, leaving a door open to play the field? They don't want to. They don't want to burn bridges.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to be honest. Because they're like, well, what if my other options that I have that I'm also talking to doesn't work out? I want to be able to come back to this one.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother podcast episode. And you will be surprised how often we hear, is it okay for me to talk to 5, 6 different people at a time?
Well, and I think a couple of weeks.
I said women, but it happens to men too.
Sure. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about the idea of exclusivity, right?
Yeah.
And how some people feel like, they might have different understandings of when a relationship becomes exclusive. It's worth going back and listening to that one if you haven't yet, because we kind of talk about that a little bit. But yeah, I think that there is sometimes a tendency that people have to not be honest because they don't want to burn that bridge in case.
Yeah, just in case.
And here's the thing. If you are interacting with people a certain way because you want to keep them on as a last resort, then you're using them for something that is not like a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
You're keeping them as an emotional backup for you.
You should probably reevaluate your values.
Yeah. And like why
or
you're
your
dating.
intentions.
Yeah. Why are you dating anyway? Like what's the ultimate aim here? Because that's not the way you'd want to treat your future spouse.
No.
So like, unless you see them as a potential marriage partner, like keeping them on some kind of a random back burner isn't valuable.
Yeah. So that's another topic for another day.
Okay. By way of announcements, this should be coming out the Monday before Thanksgiving or Sunday night.
Sunday night. Yeah.
Depending on when we have our lives together. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We will not have a podcast that comes out next week because we will not be recording a podcast over Thanksgiving weekend.
Yep.
We're going to be traveling. We're also going to be kicking off our end of year sale.
That's right.
Yep. So the end of year sale will go up on Black Friday.
Yep.
Really, this is a sale for the ladies.
Yep.
And I say that because our guys are right now, they have access to our freemium So if you're a guy and if you're hearing this for the first time, what that means is that you can actually register and do your consultation and meet your first match without paying us anything.
Yeah. And if you enjoyed the process, you want to continue using our services, then that's when we will charge.
Yeah, but we've created a few different ways to do that, so you can structure it the way that works best for you.
Yep.
We're trying to keep the barriers for our guys as low as we possibly can.
Yeah. But what does this mean for the sale for the women?
I think we're going to do 50% off.
No, I know. Well, that too. But that's all right. That's also good. But I mean, is there something special about this sale that we haven't done before?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we were going to broach this yet, but so the sale's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
In that we're going to run it through the end of the year just like we always do. And then at the start of next year, January 1st, hypothetically, we will be temporarily closing our pipeline to new female clients.
Yep.
And the reason for that...
You shall not pass.
No, you shall pass later on when we reopen.
Get that reference? You're cool. I was looking for that one of the references.
Yeah, now
I finally got it.
You've hit all the fandoms.
That's right. Well, not all of them, but...
Yeah. So the reason why we'd be closing our pipeline to new female clients is not because we don't want to serve ladies. We do. What we're realizing is that we need to be more strategic with how we seek out male clients that are a good fit for the women we are working with now.
Yep.
And what this would allow us to do is to spend a little bit less time on our intake processes of doing new consultations, and instead focus that time on really, really targeted outreach to men in specific geographical regions and specific age and ethnic demographics.
Yeah.
Really focused targeting for categories of men that would be most beneficial to the ladies that we're serving right now.
Yeah. We want to, every time we do a sale, specifically geared towards men.
Yeah.
It usually gets a lot of men in for us. And we're like, yes, this is great. But then we also get like triple the amount of women that also come in too.
Right.
So like, it's a perpetuation of the same problem.
Right.
Like, and so right now we want to make sure that our current clients, our current female clients know that we're trying to air quote shop for them.
Okay. So we will eventually reopen our pipeline to ladies, but we're going to try this out to see if it helps us be more strategic about how we serve them and make sure that we are doing our best to find matches for everyone that we work with right now. And if you're one of our guys that's still waiting on matches and you haven't heard back from us about, a match and we're still working on things for you, that doesn't mean that the opportunity of different people and more matches is going to go away, because we're going to meet a lot of new ladies as a result of the sale.
Yeah.
So it will be a seasonal thing. It will close the pipeline and then reopen it again after we've been able to do some more targeted outreach for matches for those ladies. But we're excited to try that because it's going to give us, it's just a different strategy than what we've tried in the past.
Yeah. And so if you've been on the fence about joining, if you're a lady, this would be the best time to get in, because one, it'll be 50% off. But two, we're also closing it down for feasibly probably at least a couple months, if not more than that.
I'm thinking at minimum a quarter, so 3 months, but I think it's probably going to be more like the first half of next year.
Yeah, to be determined. But,
to be determined.
So yeah, so if you've been on the fence and you want to find out more information from us, feel free to reach out to us and ask as many questions as you want.
Right.
And also, hopefully, fingers crossed, with the launch of the sale, our website will be completely updated.
Yeah, so we've been building a new website behind the scenes. Shout out to Richard, who's been helping us with that. Richard, you're a wizard. We appreciate you.
West Palm.
West Palm.
West Palm.
Hope that's not a gang sign anywhere.
Probably is.
Our current website, which again was designed by a dear friend of mine, has been very beautiful. But we wanted to migrate it to a different platform, and it was a great time for us to kind of reframe out what we're doing there. So we'll have more to talk about with this, because we have some other plans for like changes that we're making to the process. But this is the first big one, is that you'll be able to go there, and as a guy, you'll be able to sign up for the freemium right from the website instead of emailing me.
Yeah.
And as a lady, you'll be able to access the 50% off of the sale right from the website, go through the normal intake process. It'll be very clean and easy to get to.
Yeah.
So we're very excited about that.
Yep. Yep. This is all exciting stuff.
This is also the week where it is actually the deadline for payment for the cruise. We haven't sent that in yet, have we?
Nope.
We got to do that.
I'll do it tomorrow.
Sorry, Chelsea.
Like she's listening to us.
Yeah. She could be. You never know. She's happily married, so maybe not, and has a small child, but could be. So if you haven't heard about this, we are going on a cruise in February to the Bahamas, just us and a bunch of amazing single people, and it's going to be a blast. Super fun, hilarity all the time. 3 days of not having to make any decisions and having an all-you-can-eat buffet available to you at all times.
I'm so looking forward to it.
I am too. I'm going to have to do some extra exercise beforehand so I can make up for it while we're on the cruise. Anyway, so looking forward to that. If you have already signed up and registered, payment deadline is coming up this week. If you have not yet signed up, you still can. As long as there are open cabins on the boat, you're welcome to come along. Pricing might vary a little bit, and we can't lock in our pricing anywhere right now because it's going to depend on availability, but reach out to Chelsea for more information. We would love to have you come on board with us. It's going to be amazing.
Yep. I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
And more guys keep on signing up.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey.
Thank you for hanging out with me until almost 1 a.m. on a weeknight.
My pleasure. This really helps.
Shout out to Emmy again for...
I did finish it for all you who thought I couldn't finish it at midnight.
For context, he's talking about his coffee. For those of you who can't see.
That's right.
He's holding up his coffee mug and talking about it. We have come full circle.
That's true.
Back to the mugs.
That's right.
I love you.
I love you too.
I hope you all have a beautiful Thanksgiving week. I hope that you're spending it with family or friends and people that you care about. Please reach out to us if you find yourself in a lonely moment over Thanksgiving. We hope that you are able to feel lots of love and connection over this holiday, and we will see you back after a break.
That's right. Happy Gobble Day.
Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.